Namo Buddhaya, everyone. Good evening. My name is Linda, and so delighted to welcome you all to our Mindfulness through Buddhism Sutta study class. Again, tonight we are very fortunate to have Bhante Amitakema to be with us to share his insights into the Buddha's teaching. And also last week, we were learning about the Buddha's noble search. So there was a ignoble search and noble search. Um, and I believe at the end of the session, our friend Dilipa volunteered to do the recap. So Dilipa.
Hello, yeah. So last week we did the Pasari Sutta. I think that's how it's pronounced. And basically this sutta is about two types of quests that people undertake in their lives. So at the beginning, it starts off with the Buddha staying in Jeta's Grove. And then when he goes to teach the Dhamma there, he comes upon a situation where a few monks are discussing the Dhamma. And he actually waits outside for them to finish, just because he's rejoicing and appreciating the fact that they're discussing the Dhamma. So that's the reverence he has for the Dhamma itself. He goes on to explain the necessity of practicing the Dhamma by giving his own experience as a seeker. So he explains that there are two quests or searches. There's the ignoble quest and the noble quest. So the ignoble quest is that when someone like us who is liable to rebirth, decay, illness, death, and corruption seek things in life that are also liable to these things. So in our lives, we have no control over the fact that we're impermanent and that we're going to decay and pass away, and that all of these bad things will happen to us as we live. And then as we have to deal with this fact in life, we chase things that are also of that same nature, of an impermanent nature. And we seek those things in hope of happiness, but suffer as a result of their impermanence. Some of these things that are mentioned in the sutta include partners and children, servants, which I think fits more in the context of the time, farm stock and animals, and gold and money. And the problem with these things is that they change and in ways that we don't want them to. Like, people we love may change, they grow old, they pass away, and that causes us suffering. And Bante specifically gave us an example of a car last week, because a car can wear down over time and be destroyed and just function, not as well. So in contrast to this ignoble quest, there's the noble quest. And that's when understanding the drawbacks of searching for happiness in things that are impermanent, we seek nirvana, which is, in the sutta, they use the word like extinguishment. So this is kind of removing ourselves from conditioned existence and from the chain of dependent origination. So the Buddha in the sutta gives like anecdotal, experiential, like, I guess, advice, or just like as an example. And he says that before his awakening, he was also liable to impermanence. And he questioned why he was seeking things of the same nature. And Bhante like stressed how crazy this is, given that the Buddha had an like amazing life. Like, he had a very luxurious life. He didn't really have any problems or struggles that we may deal with. Everything was kind of given to him. And even with that in mind, like, he's living what a lot of people would consider their ideal life or their dream life. But even then, he was unsatisfied and trying to search for something more satisfactory. So as a result of that, he went into homelessness. And after going into homelessness, he met two teachers in his quest. But as he practiced their teachings, he was also left unsatisfied. So Bante's focusing on one teacher that was capable of reaching what's called the dimension of nothingness, which is a high level state of meditation. And the Buddha himself got to that state of meditation and was able to do that. But he found that it wasn't leading to the cessation and insight he was searching for, and that it would only lead to him being reborn into a world where he's experiencing like nothingness or the dimension of nothingness. And Bhante said that a lot of people in their spiritual, quests will get to a point where they reach like a position of power or just like capability, I guess. But then they get stuck there due to their attachment to that power or capability. But the Buddha was careful not to do that. So the Buddha would go on to let go of all his teachers because he found their teachings inadequate. And then Monte shifted focus to our own lives. And, in our day to day lives, we need to assess the motivations behind what we're doing. Like, why do we spend the time and effort in our lives the way we do? So, some things that can motivate us or is like social obligation, uh, financial success, a desire for acceptance. All of these things motivate us in our lives to do whatever we do. But like Bhante stressed that in the end, all of these things are really motivated by a desire to be happy and to like get satisfaction. But the places we search for that satisfaction are impermanent and subject to change, and so we're left with suffering because they're inherently unsatisfactory. Bhante also said that some things we chase in life that are impermanent, such as like food, money, shelter, these kind of things we cannot avoid. We need food to survive. No matter how impermanent food is, we need it to survive. So he stressed that the answer is not to spontaneously just leave your life, but to have acceptance that the things we go after are unsatisfactory. And so when they do eventually leave our lives or just change or decay or fade away, we shouldn't, by practicing that acceptance, we're not surprised or caught off guard by it. And doing this will help us lower the expectations of what these attachments and desires will give us.
Thank you very much, Tilipa. That was very thorough and beautiful done. Next, we are going to invite Bhante Amita Kema. I just realized I forgot that Bhante Amita Kema was not with us last week. And I do hope that Bhante feels better this week. And yes, Bhante, please, we would like to invite Bhante to guide us in this Dhamma study. Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Linda. Let's pay our respect to Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. My homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's pay our respect to our teacher, Pinnat Lokuswamina. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Since you all have a very good understanding about Ariyapariyesanā Sutta, so today I thought of going further into it to teach you something special, because we received an email from one of our participants. So in a summary, the question is like that the craving was responsibility, like sometimes, like not sometimes, like as a lay person there are responsibilities, it's not craving. So like material purposes or those things, so then how to manage life with that, and then the other, like intentions, and that the modern complexities, like that it's not that easy to like it's not the same world we are living when Buddha lived, and so there are things we need to think of, and then that that the basic needs are there, like when we say that economic insecurity, like sometimes even people have like enough amount of money, but that's enough for them to just to survive. But when it come to the taxes and when it come to the huge health insurance bills also, it's really difficult to handle. So all those things, with all of those things, how to manage life. So basically it's like the thing. So with this, I will bring you to the understanding. So what we gonna learn, what is the difference between Buddha's teaching and the modern day our life expectations. So first of all, we need to understand that Buddha did something we how to say that so Buddha did something most of us, if we are in that place, not gonna do. Maybe 99.99%, right? Think that if you are the king and if you own whole country, king own even the people back then, rules and everything. So it's not like when you make a decision, that's the decision, and court can change it even. So when you are having that sort of a power, if you felt like, okay, I'm gonna be a monk, it's pretty rare to happen, right? Unless you have that much of wisdom. So with that much of possessions and things, Buddha changed his life because there's something special in it. I mean, something special in it means that what we are seeking does not have answers, but it has something. But that something is not the answer what Buddha wanted. So, and again, you may have heard that there's a kind of a monastic argument. Mindfulness, we should not frame Buddha's teachings for just for this simple mindfulness. So it's like Buddha taught something like really deep, and we should not neglect Buddha's teachings, like just bringing it to the to create kind of a comfort to our modern day life. There are these sort of arguments. So don't worry, I am not in that argument, right? I am not saying so. What I am saying is that if anything beneficial to you from Buddha's teaching, please take it. So now let's try to understand what is the Buddha's teaching in there. So clearly you can understand that decay and death, like we are in a decaying and death situation, and so, and what we are seeking also have this decaying and death situation. So like, think that what I'm going to say, that I can remember that the Bante said about that car and those things. Think that something like a material thing, you feel like, okay, I need to have this, but that also have the decaying and death thing. We also have the decaying and death thing. So let's understand it furthermore. From like from this moment to the past, whatever the things you have experienced, how maybe the beautiful places you have been, and your good relatives back then lived with you, maybe your grandparents, you can remember everything, but other than reminding, there is no existing past. Your whole past is just a thought, none other than anything. So first learn this, and then you can argue about this. You can argue, because arguing with the truth always bring you to the truth, because we can't argue and win against the truth. So whole past is now just a thought and just a feeling, just a perception, and none other than a thought also, because it's just something which arises in your mind when you think. You do not have that existing past to go and observe or enjoy. I don't think you will you will have any vacation. Like when you have a vacation, you will say, okay, I will go to Vienna, I will go to Europe, I will go to New Zealand, okay, I will try to go to Sri Lanka. But no one will say that I'm going to my own past, because it's not existing. That's the truth. Okay, now forget about this moment. Think that this is we just fast forward our life, and this is the last day we are living in this earth. Okay, now what happened to the future, what we are going to experience in between now this moment and the day we are going to die? That also will change into just a thought, just a memory, just a one memory. So now add that past memory before today also to that, which means that whole life is none other than just a couple of memory. Even though when we say memory, it's just a thought where it arises when it arises. So then now think that we just came to this world, we receive 6 senses, and we are now going to lose those things. What do we have in between? We have nothing, because since the 6 sense faculties are decaying and deathing. So we just watched a movie from these senses, decaying and death. So now with that, see the world. It's a kind of a next level wisdom. So then if the whole lifespan is like just like a memory, just a thought, so then what are all the inputs or values which we have given to, like what is the meaning of giving a value to in between to anything? It's like think that you are watching a movie. While watching the movie, think that you have kind of like authority in that watching movie. Instead of just watching it, think that uh, it's like it's a kind of a virtual reality. You think that you can actively participate in that movie, like you have that Apple glasses or something, some sort of a better version. You can, while living in that movie, I think that in that movie, instead of just watching one thing, you can go to different places. Think that that movie is, instead of streaming only thing, that restaurant, you can, if you would like, you can, instead of just having your meal, you can just go to the kitchen and watch what's going on. You can come out and see the what's going on in the mall. So it's now not a movie, it's like, think that now it's a game model, like what, GTA or something. So then there's you feel kind of a value to add to that. Oh, these people are not nice. It's better to these people, help these people to be nice. Okay, these people are poor. It's better to help these people. But you are doing something and you are helping to the thing, that your help also has a value, and it definitely change. Think that those characters are changing, at least a little bit. But you are it's that your time to spend in that virtual reality, that game, little by little getting like over. It's like it's getting end. Like you can see that your movements are not so fast. You feel that decaying thing happen in that game. Then suddenly you just come out of that game. Now you can go to that game. Everything will be end. So likewise, this whole life we are experiencing, we created this I. We created this I, means not this I, that identity of I, using this temporary eye, temporary ear, temporary nose, temporary tongue, temporary body, and temporary mind. all the values and all the movies, all the things we are experiencing belong to these six sense faculties. All the happiness and the unhappiness belong to these sense faculties. Those are decaying things. Those are dying. We are not owning it. While having this, it has its own dopamine cycle. When experiencing, comparing with the previous memory, if it is something special, if it feels like there's a dopamine secretion and we want this to achieve that, we want to take it. We are living in that circle. While we are doing so, decaying thing happen, death happen. If someone seriously understands that, that's what happened to Bodhisattva, the Buddha, that is what gonna happen to anyone. That's then they have like experience their vision is the first thing come. Stream entrant means the first stage. Remember, most people struggle with or try to understand letting go attachment. Actually, letting go attachment to sensual pleasures comes the third stage. You do not worry about letting go attachment. Let it happen by itself. Like, don't try to push your attachments, like suppress it. Think that you have a beautiful, beloved, like a loving, kind child. Do not try to suppress your attachment. It does not help in that way. Your wisdom will give you the understanding. Then you will, while holding the love towards that your child, one day your attachment will fade away. If you try to cut off that, it's just a fake thing. And I have seen these fake things create real problems. It creates that the jealousies in different ways. Think that someone suppress their attachment and believing that that's the right thing. Okay, don't think that someone does not understand the real value of the celibacy life. Someone does not understand the real value of the not having sexual misconduct, and having the good relationship. But without understanding that, he just tried to do it by force. Then what happened? When he sees someone having a kind of a extra like think that someone having a kind of a misconduct, then mind may come and say, hey, you are doing wrong, please, you are doing wrong and you will get so much of sufferings in future. It seems like he's delivering the Dhamma. It seems like he's delivering the truth. He seems like he's delivering the but the righteous thing. But when if we just scrape a little bit and when we try to see the intention comes with slight bit of jealousy. And this is not only what I'm saying, and this is something even psychologically proved. Even people who are like not having something and believing it without the proper knowledge, believing that's the truth, but they don't have experience. When someone doing something else, they come and bring like strongly reject, but they don't know that they are bringing it with anger. How anger rises? Because they have jealousy. What it means that they secretly expecting that since they can't get it, they just showing their rejection, but seems like they are doing it the right way. So think that someone is not drinking alcohol. So if you are not drinking alcohol, yeah, that's good, and that's good for your health, and that's good for your mental clarity, and that's for something you are doing, which Buddha praised. Suddenly you go to a party and you see, not suddenly you are going to a party and you see someone is drinking. Then what you do? What that sort of a mind is looking like, oh, bad guys. putting a frame, this person is a bad person, then he is not ready to see even a single good from that one who's drinking alcohol. Like always looking to, because he's drinking alcohol, he will be seeing want to see all the bad things happening to that person. So that's jealousy. That comes with that trying to suppress the attachment. So suppressing attachment does not help. So okay, what will be the right yes way? He's understanding it. He's like, but he does not like feel like I am inferior because I'm not doing this, and these people, sorry, I'm superior because I'm doing this. The other people are inferior. There is no such a sort of thought pattern. He having his own inner clarity, peace, and so while the other person may drink, he may just enjoy some discussion and he may have some mindful talk. The other person's eat or lifestyle doesn't affect, that doesn't matter to ourselves. So that's the freedom. So how it comes, they let go attachment with the understanding. So this is, I mean, one day, no, not one day, because that Sri Lanka is a traditional Buddhist country. That means that it has its own culture also in Buddhist say. So when someone go to monastery, you may have seen they used to wear white clothes. So sometimes that during the teachings, our teacher let people to send a small cheat or note. If you have any questions, please ask further to get clarification. Sometimes the teacher says that I receive a note and it says, teacher, but not teacher, Bhante, the one who's next to me wearing this colorful dress and it's not appropriate, advise him, advise her, not him. Usually these are female type questions. Advise her. So like what they expect, like kind of a that I'm doing good and these people should not do that. And one of our Bhante said that one wove that that I don't know how to say it in English, that like a necklace type of things women wear around their wrist, like Indians wear like a bunch of what it called
Bracelet.
It's
A bracelet.
This
it's
is a
also called,
bangles, I think, right? Yeah.
it's not a bracelet, it's like it's slightly different than bracelet, but they wore a lot, especially in Indian tradition.
Bangles,
Bangles.
John?
Okay, bangles. So one lady was super angry because someone wore bangles and came to the monastery. And so seems like it's a good thing. It's not appropriate, and then that's why he's like complaining. And while saying, she's saying, we have way more good things than that. We can wear even better ones. So, so what it says, that discussion says that, okay, that sounds what? That sounds the jealousy. And so what we really need to understand, we need to practice. Okay, so if you need just mindfulness, yes, that's helpful. Buddha's teachings definitely help you. Okay, if you need something like way deeper than that, okay, that also in here. So what is the deepest thing? Understanding these whole six sense faculties are decaying and death, relative to decay and death, and so whatever the things we experience from this also relative to this decay and death. So it's better to find something which not decaying and death. There are no much things in this existence not decaying and death, but other than the Nibbana or the enlightenment. So that's the real thing we need to achieve. Think that So the thing is let's go back to that game example. Like a movie, then it's like a type of a game, so you can actively involve that. So one day you are gonna lose that ability to log into that game, but that does not mean that you are going back again going to be a human. So because this consciousness always, because of the karma, it creates its own effect. So it creates another type of conscious being. It's not totally you, and it's not something different from you. It's like based on this, developing something new. It's like think that we are not like our mom, we are not like our dad, but we are from the both. Like we can say that there is no connection with our parents, and we can say that we are exact same to our parents. Our chromosomes, we got something from our DNA got something from our mom and dad, and it the crawled and create its own type of a gene. So likewise, so our life is what creating from this also, this create effect. So with this, I will go to Sutta. With I will allow you to ask questions even. It's okay. And then before that, I will think this like sometimes we may feel like, okay, this is another common misunderstanding that people sometimes say that I don't want to worry about my next life. I'll definitely be either human or either angel or so some sort of a good divinely being. Actually, it's not happening in that way. It's like you can see whether you are going to be a good human or another good living being by yourself. How? From your own mind. If you are, it's a thing that if you are a very generous person and you are practicing generosity, because of that, if you think that, okay, I'm a generous person, I practice generosity, because of that I will reborn in heaven. So that's a misunderstanding. Why so? Okay, you are generous and you are practicing generosity, and that's when you are practicing generosity, you are generous. But what think that you are practicing generosity once a week, 4 times a week, or whenever you get a chance. Okay, how about the rest of the time? Like, what do you do in the rest of the time in the week or month? Are you complaining to the others more often? Are you getting mad with your children or with your family or with the current political situation or your uh, uh, like job political situation? Job also has its own politics. So then, so most of even though we try to emphasize or focus to what the good side, okay, yes, good side you also have. So, okay, what about the other things? So your karma is that mix of everything. So mix of everything create a mix soup, not just the benefit of the generosity. And again, sometimes you may think, okay, I'm a good human and I'm observing precepts. So yeah, precepts help you to control your body reaction and word reactions in a certain way. But that's not enough. What about the mind? How many thoughts arising per day, and how your thought pattern going on? I will bring two examples from monks. So monks are practicing way better, more than precepts what you usually the other humans practice. So one monk, so you know that as a highly ordained monk, we have like a small precept, a small one, to not to like cut plants intentionally. So if there's anything needed to do, like remove weed or so, usually you may have seen that lay people come and help. So one monk, he observed precepts and protect throughout his life, and because of his ignorance, he was not mindful. That was the issue, not he broke something serious. When he's like he crossed from a boat, and when he was in his late, he was an elder monk back then, and then because he wanted a kind of a lift, he tried to uh, hold a branch, and because of that a leaf broke. So he wanted to confess about that to the another highly ordained monk, but he couldn't. But because he did not practice precepts righteous way, he hold his regret. Because of that, with so much of power and happiness, he reborn in a living a world. In that world, he has all the power and everything, but too much anger in that world, and no, he can't understand realities. That mind is not incapable of understanding realities. There was another monk. That monk righteously received a robe cloth, and since he had enough robes, he gave it to sister to keep it and give him when he needed. But sister saw that that robe cloth is not perfectly wound, so she removed everything and rewound it to create more comfort. And late, after couple of months later, brother monk asked from sister the robe, and then sister said, I designed this. And then he was so happy, and he was so happy to wear a robe from that robe cloth, because sister also contributed to it. So he has a attachment, because sister also did something special to it. With that slight attachment, he went to sleep. Again, he did not practice mindfulness very well, even though he is a monk. In late night, like during the sleep, he got a heart attack and he died. So for 7 days, he reborn as a small, tiny living being in that robe for 7 days. So when monks decide going to give it to another monk who may really need it, Buddha said, wait until 7 days. And said this story, and until then no one knew about that. So your mind matters a lot. So think that if you are gonna, it's not, again, we need to understand that this is not someone else creating in you. This is the cause and effect law. To understand this, just I will bring a research in this. You can understand there was a rat heaven created by group of scientists. Rat heaven means created a place where rat can experience its own heaven, like endless food, endless protection, everything safe. In the first, it seems like in no time rats will overgrow. But actually, what happened? Without coming to the full amount of rats started to decline, and all the rats died within maybe 3 or so generations. What happened? There wasn't any motivation to protect. There is no adrenaline or cortisol secretion. There is no fight and flight mode. There is no motivation to live, just existing. And then the next generation inherited that. and then they didn't survive. So it sounds like what? Normally people may say that the living beings can't live like a heavenly place, but actually what? Like undeveloped mind that can't survive in a heavenly experience. That's why when you create a heavenly type of thing, even in this human world, someone will find a way to create a hell that in that heavenly world. Sometimes that so, sometimes if there's like a peaceful neighborhood, that neighborhood has this peaceful culture. It's like a generation to generation that neighborhood developed. But sometimes another group of people coming from another neighborhood, they have their own lifestyle. So then it's like this thing that for the protection, and one group of people has to steal, but that the civilized neighborhood, they do not know what is stealing, and they don't like lock even doors. So then what happened? The other group come and mix with this group. They know that they are, from their experience, for the protection in future, when we get a chance, we need to steal things and create our own possession. So then what happened? That the heaven also turned into hell. So if we have if we don't have a developed mind in righteous way, if you get a heaven, definitely not you. If someone get a heaven like that, definitely he will create that heaven, create a hell in that heaven. So that's the reality. So therefore, we, instead of just expecting something to happen as a miracle, we need to train our mind. To train our mind, what's the best thing to understand? Understand this decaying and death truth. Like, we are not owning this. All the values are given values. So, given values by the society also. Okay, now there's a problem. Need it. There are something like, it's like the basic needs. Yes. If you can satisfy from basic needs, when you receive something way better than that, it always feels like a bonus. So it's not, don't misunderstand, like you should not have, think that you are a millionaire and you want to buy a BMW and the best, the newest version. Please buy it, because if you feel like if you can afford it, please buy it. And if you don't want to buy that, and if you think that okay, small car may enough, there may be another karmic reason. I will bring that also. There's a sutta in Combined Discourse, first book. If you would like, you can read it. The name must maybe like son, kids less wealthy person or something that related to that. There's a wealthy person, he didn't have children, but he's that India is India has its own caste system. So it's like uh, like if you are born into that caste, you have the certain names. Like there was a person, he born into this merchant caste, so if he used to be a, like he's coming from a like a wealthy family, but he lived like a poor person. He didn't renovate his mansion. He used a old horse with the old chariot, and didn't eat like a wealthy person. And he lived like almost like a banker person. So he died since he didn't have any children. So king whatever the remaining things now going to belong to the government. And king went to see that house because something special happened when they opened that all the treasures and things in the house. They found 40, how to say that, how 40 100 millions. It's like 40 100 millions means that 400 millions, right? But no one thought that if while having this much of possession, why this guy is living like a homeless person. So the king was so like curious about that and went to see the Buddha and said, Buddha, something strange happened. Then Buddha said that he received that much of possession. There was a reason for that. That the main karma, main reason was that there's a era, there's a situation in between Buddha's dispensations. There's a time where there is no Buddha's dispensation, but there are enlightened uh, Buddhas, but they don't have a meritorious power to create a dispensation or teach others, but they have their own realization. So in that era, there was that enlightened, we call it Pacceka Buddha. That Buddha, whilst going arms round, he went to this person's house and he said that while he's going to something, while attending to something else, he said, okay, go take something from our house, and he asked his wife to prepare something and give. When he's coming back, Buddha received enough amount of food and going back to where he lived, maybe to the jungle. So he asked, did you receive, to just don't know who this is, but knowing that he's a monk. Monk, did you receive lunch? Yes, I do. And then he just opened the cover and just see what's in the bowl, and he saw that wife has prepared one of the delicious meal she can prepare. So he's slightly upset about that. Oh, if I have given this to a servant, I may have taken some sort of extra duty from that guy rather than just wasting. So first he allowed to give, and then later he did not appreciate what he has done. He couldn't rejoice what he has done. So when you do a good karma, you need to be happy in 3 places: before you are doing, while you are doing, and after you did that. So he couldn't do that thing. So because of that, he received huge amount of wealth in his next lives, but his mind is not ready to use it. These sort of minds are available in the world, even though like they do not spend for themselves even. And there's another reason, because of that property thing, that property thing means that there was a relative issues with the property to a property, and he killed one of his relative son. Because of that karma, even though he didn't have children. So likewise, so if when you have wealth, if you don't feel like to spend it, do not again try to say it's like I'm trying to be maintaining a simple life. You have to clearly see what's going on in yourself. You don't want others explanation. You know your intention and go through it. And if you have more money, please help us to our monastery to we can do so many meditation programs free of charge. I'm just kidding. Not kidding. Yes, please help. Okay. So I don't want to see your so serious faces, by the way. And so then again, when we go to the sutta, Okay, it's 8:55. Okay, I'll finish this and I'll have you to ask questions, right? So we see that why Buddha had this different type of vision about the world. He saw this decaying and death, and he tried the ways like what we are doing as a meditation. That meditation actually Buddha practiced before he has this vision. Okay, that's something important because Alara Kalama taught the first formless meditation. Uddhakarama Buddha taught the fourth formless meditation. So why, even though he taught that, it does not lead to the liberation? That's where the vision is the reason to let go ego. If not, your meditation, you will let go sensual pleasures, but you will attach to the super peaceful, calm state what you are experiencing. It also has an attachment. So it's like this. Think that you are meditating. When you meditate, you will feel that peaceful experience. Then your mind attached to it. Sometimes your mind say, okay, I would love to see some things which I can see from my naked eye. The visions from the other living beings, maybe read others' mind. So then our mind divert from expecting to liberate to use and give values to these six sense faculties. It's also a way of giving values. So then to let go this ego. So then Buddha tried that the next thing available that time was that mortification, that the giving so much of pain to the body. And he understood that giving pain does not help. And then later he developed with this right understanding, he attained to these concentrations back and forth and he attained the Nibbana. So this vision comes first. Samadhi comes first, right vision. And because of that right vision, this you are not going to attach to the concentration also. If not, that concentration also create attachment. If you attach, you will reborn in that amazing free whole, like as a living being, but it's also impermanent. And after that, there's a possibility even to this karma can take us to the worst destination where we can go back. So that's what we need to understand. Okay, now I'm opening you to ask questions. If there's any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, now let's understand another thing. Just reading a sutta is something else, and following a guidance from a Bhante is something else, right? That's why we need to listen teachings. Okay, Sumana. Sumana, Stacy, anyone?
I have a question. I'm not clear on what the formless meditation is.
Okay. Formless meditation means, Sumana, it's like when you meditate, so when you're bringing your attention to think that you're bringing your attention to your breath, and then think that you are attaining to a jhana meditation one day. So in the jhana meditation, it doesn't matter first or second or third or fourth, you can experience your body in that meditation. You can experience a feeling and perception and volition, the intention in it, and the consciousness. In formless level, you, no matter how much you try, you can't experience form. Your consciousness is so subtle, and your consciousness is experiencing the limitless sky. It's a feeling and it's a perception and it has volition. So that's there are 4 formless meditations. Arupa Samadhi in Pali.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah, come here, Stacy.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
So it's interesting what you said about getting good karma. So ever since these teachings, I've been trying to be more generous, be more caring. But sort of like what you said, it's not before, during, and after. It's like, oh, today I feel like being caring, and then the next day it's like, oh, I'm just going to be selfish and focus on me. So are you saying that in order to get good karma, even if someone brings you tension or triggers you, you should always maintain that generous giving attitude, even when it doesn't serve you?
No. If someone hurts you, you can be mindful and create your boundary. It does not affect your loving kindness. Can you remember that lion story? You
Yes.
can love the lion, but let it be in the cage. And you don't want to go to the cage, and you don't to come into your side.
Yeah. But
Let it enjoy there.
but to get good karma, you should always think loving
That's
thoughts.
a good karma.
Yeah.
Good karma. Right intention is because karma is none other than intention. Whatever the intention, your karma.
Okay. And one more thing, so it's sort of like the example of someone, when that guy wasn't drinking the alcohol and then the person saw the other one and they judged them. How would you say, like, let's say I think one way and then one of my best friends, we get along great, but occasionally she'll have, let's say, political views I don't believe in. How do you maintain that, friendship when somebody thinks so differently than you?
Yeah, you need to understand that I love only the friendship of this person, not the bad habit, or in your point of view, not that person's political view. So he can enjoy his political view and his habits. You can enjoy only the friendship, but not his political view or his habits.
So, like a person, their habits, views that you don't agree with, just think like that's part of them, not who they are. And you can still love them, even if you do things differently.
Yeah, so some of my friends, one day one of my friend, he taught me A to Z what's the difference between gin, alcohol, just alcohol, and then wine, how to prepare wine, why different glasses are there, and based on vaporization and everything. Now I can remember everything, but it's like a whole, like a lecture on alcohol, and it's like that's him. But he would love to learn about loving kindness. He would love to learn about mindfulness. So and he's more generous and to share his knowledge and things. And so it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, instead of just seeing it as a problem, just enjoy the friendship, and that's all.
Yeah, that's what I try to do, because it's easy to argue, especially these days with politics. But I get along really well with this girl more than anyone else. But as long as you don't talk politics, you're good. Okay.
Yeah, there's something special we need to understand. We need to if we learn this in as a teenage, it's good. We have like a misunderstanding in ourselves. We believe that we can change people. Actually, we can't change people. There are rare amount of people changing from others' advices. And so it's like, so once we realize this truth, our teachings, discourses, everything, not to change people, because it's really rare. It's like, let it be. Just hold a thought like, yeah, let it be. Let it be. And then you have freedom. So then when you don't want to change someone, So you don't want to bring your point into that sort of any sort of a political discussion or anything. Why we let it be? We understand based on the surveys and so people never change. So it's a kind of a rare thing. If there's someone changing, oh, that's a kind of a miracle, because when someone changing, they have kind of a open, kind of a broad understanding. Sometimes what they change, they are like it's a cultural thing to someone, maybe someone to religious thing, someone to, there are so many things. So therefore don't expect people to change, honestly. That's the clear. Okay, I'm sharing blessings. Let's share all the blessings we accumulated today with all the divinely powers, and if there are any private guardian to you, with them, and past relatives and friends, especially with our teacher, Pinat Loku Swaminas, and all the monastic monks who live all around the world, and with our wonderful volunteers and the meditators and the Dhamma listeners. May you all be well and happy, and may your all good wishes come true. Abhivadana Silis Nichang Adapachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vadanti Ayuvanno Sukhang Balang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Minate Samichyatu. May you all have a long life, happy life, and healthy life. May your all good wishes come true. Namo Buddhaya.